The death toll is now 12,000 people, making this disaster one of the deadliest quakes in decades. CNN's Nick Paton-Walsh is inside the region where the 7.8 magnitude epicenter was recorded. Nick, what are you seeing in this hour?
Yeah, absolutely right, Abby, to say that that window of rescuing people alive is certainly closing. It is still bitterly cold here, and the commotion you can see behind me is the continued bid in the dark of night to excavate, and I think it's fair to say they're moving in a way which shows a lot less of the caution we saw when we first got here last night, when they were piecing their way very carefully, sometimes by hand, listening, looking for survivors. It's noisy, it's fast-paced, and I have to tell you also too, today when we've been here and across here, this town, Kahramanmaraş, so close to the epicenter, we've seen a lot of bodies being pulled out. A devastating number, to be honest, in large numbers. A 4-year-old girl pulled away in a blanket from here, an 8-year-old girl, a number of men often lined up in the street in large numbers in tarpaulins, often the ambulances whose blue lights you can see flashing in my face here, arriving and having to take away the dead, not the living. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey, he flew into this town today as part of a trip to earthquake-ravaged areas. I think he accepted, it's fair to say, that the government's response in that first day wasn't that fast. It's also fair to say, hampered by appalling weather conditions. It meant so few could get to here. But there is anger amongst people here, specifically that things were not done fast enough. You'd feel it too if you felt more could be done to save your loved ones. In fact, earlier today, on top of that piece of rubble there, we climbed up to see medics rush in. They thought they'd found somebody alive. Sadly, they left with their stretchers empty, and the daughter of the man there who died, furious that nothing had been done faster. We'll see this play out in the days ahead across Turkey as there's something of a reckoning occurs as to how any country possibly could have done more, could have responded faster. But right now, still, the digging continues. The bodies that are brought out, so many of them lifeless. Abby?
So many doing so much to try to save whoever they can at this point. Thank you, Nick Paton-Walsh, for that report.
Earlier, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan visited an emergency relief centre at the heart of the disaster zone. After greeting victims, he acknowledged problems with the Turkish government's initial response, but said the situation is under control and vowed to rebuild the quake-damaged area within a year. CNN's Jemana Karaca joins me now from Adana in the southern Turkish region, which is inside the impact zone. Jemana, the death toll is, of course, continuing to rise, and hope is fading for many of those survivors. What is the situation in Adana right now? How are they coping?
Well, you know, Christina, Adana is one of those cities, part of the 10 provinces that have been impacted by this quake, this massive earthquake zone. Here you don't see the sort of wide-scale destruction that you see in other parts of the quake zone. What you see here is sites like this that are scattered around the city, where you have buildings that are still standing with little or no damage, and then you've got buildings like this in the midst of that have been flattened, and you've got search and rescue teams that have been working around the clock for nearly 72 hours now since the earthquake struck, and they are continuing to search for survivors. I mean, here at this site, this was a 14-story residential building. People are telling us there were about 100 people living in this building, families, young children, so many people that, you know, their family members, friends have all gathered here waiting to see and find out what happened to them. People have been holding on to the hope that maybe they'll be able to rescue more people. Thousands across the country have been pulled from under the rubble, but also you're seeing this death toll continuing to rise. And as this goes on longer and longer, people are starting to lose hope. I mean, we were speaking to a young man a short time ago who said he's here waiting for news of his cousin, a 25-year-old who was in the building when the quake hit. And he was very emotional, Christina, and he just started crying and saying, well, the only thing we can do right now is pray. And this is what you're seeing here. You have people who have camped out here. You've got tents that have been set up by the Turkish relief agencies. You've got food stations that have been set up. A lot of people who have nowhere to go to right now. They've either their homes have been damaged or they just can't go back home because it's not safe. They're all out here, as well as those who are just waiting and trying to find out what happened to their loved ones. I mean, so far they haven't pulled any survivors out of the wreckage over the past couple of days. Only dead bodies. I mean, just today, in the past few hours, we've heard that they managed to retrieve 3 bodies. We spoke to a man earlier who lives in this neighborhood, and he was one of the first people on the scene when the quake struck, and he says that they did initially pull someone out who was alive, but he died on the way to the hospital. So right now it's this really anxious wait, really nerve-wracking for so many people who are just sitting it out here in the bitter cold. I mean, in the past hour or so, it has really gone cold. Expect temperatures to drop to freezing levels across the quake zone tonight, and you've got people just out here waiting for any news, hoping for good news. But right now it's not looking very good at this site, at least, Christina.
Yeah, as you say, with each passing hour, hope beginning to fade. Jumana Karacha there, live for us in Adana. Thanks very much for now, Jumana.